Have you ever wondered why some people seem to exude a quiet, unshakable power? Why do some individuals, even in the toughest situations, maintain their calm, while others lose control so easily? What is it about their habits, their daily choices, that make them so strong? Can we all cultivate these habits, too, to unlock our hidden potential? Let me ask you this. Do you sometimes feel like you're stuck in the daily grind, just trying to survive? What if I told you that the secret to becoming truly powerful isn't about loud achievements or chasing external success? It's about cultivating silent, unseen habits. Yes, habits that can transform your life in ways you never imagined. For example, think about the way a bamboo tree grows. It spends years under the ground, silently growing its roots before it even shows up above the surface. But once it does, it becomes one of the strongest plants. The power wasn't in the visible growth, but in the quiet, hidden work done beneath the surface. You too can grow like that bamboo, quietly building habits that make you unstoppable, no matter where you are in life. Welcome to Wisdom Woven. In this video, we're going to explore the 10 habits that can silently make you powerful. These are habits you can begin practicing right now, no matter your background or where you are in life. If you've ever felt like there's something more you can achieve, but just didn't know where to start, this video is for you. Before we dive in, I need to mention something important. Did you know that there are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of viewers actually subscribe? If you find this content helpful and inspiring, please hit that like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on more valuable insights that can change your life. It only takes a second, but it helps us keep creating content just for you. Now, let's jump into the first habit that can make you powerfully unstoppable. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into habits that will reshape your daily life and mindset. The art of mindful presence. Imagine you're walking through a busy street. People are rushing, cars honking, and there's noise all around. Now, take a deep breath. Close your eyes for a moment. Can you still hear the noise? Or is there something else? The deep, steady rhythm of your own breath? That is the essence of mindfulness. It's about being present, fully alive in this moment, no matter what is happening around you. So, what is mindfulness really? It's not just about meditation or a quiet moment in nature. It's about bringing your full attention to whatever you are doing. It's the simple act of being here, now. Whether you're washing dishes, talking to a friend, or simply sitting in traffic, mindfulness can turn even the most mundane moments into powerful experiences. When you're mindful, you're not lost in the past or worrying about the future. You're focused entirely on the present moment. It sounds simple, but in a world filled with distractions, it's not easy. That's why it's such a powerful habit to develop. In Buddhism, mindfulness is called sati, the practice of being aware. The Buddha taught that true happiness comes from being present in each moment, because that's where life truly happens. We often spend so much time thinking about what happened yesterday or what will happen tomorrow that we forget to live in the here and now. When we start to focus on the present, we unlock the power to enjoy life fully, to experience it with clarity, and to handle every situation with calm and purpose. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine you're having a conversation with someone. How often do you find yourself thinking about what you're going to say next, instead of truly listening to the other person? When you're not fully present, your words may sound hollow, and the connection may feel strained. But when you practice mindfulness, you listen deeply, not just to the words, but to the tone, the emotion, and the underlying message. In that moment, you become more connected, more engaged, and more powerful. Your words have meaning because you've taken the time to truly understand the other person. Mindfulness isn't just about slowing down. It's about increasing your awareness, which gives you greater control over your actions and reactions. Think about how much more focused you could be if you practiced being fully present in every part of your life. Imagine being able to listen deeply, make decisions clearly, and react with calmness even when things are chaotic. When you're mindful, you gain a deeper understanding of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. This awareness makes you more powerful because it allows you to respond to life's challenges with clarity and intention. In Buddhism, one of the key teachings is that suffering arises when we are not mindful. We get caught up in the past or future, and this creates anxiety, stress, and confusion. But when we return to the present moment, we see things as they truly are. This insight allows us to let go of unnecessary fears and attachments. You see, mindfulness is not just a tool for better living. It's a way of finding peace. It's about being so deeply connected to what is happening right now that the world's noise fades away. One of the most profound aspects of mindfulness is its ability to anchor us. It helps us stay grounded, no matter what is happening around us. Think about it. When you're fully engaged in the present moment, you are not easily shaken. The world may spin around you, but you remain centered. This is the kind of power that mindfulness gives you, the power to be still in a storm. Let's explore some simple ways you can bring mindfulness into your daily life. Start with your breath. Whenever you feel distracted or overwhelmed, simply stop and take a few deep breaths. Focus on the sensation of the air entering your body and then leaving. This simple act can ground you and bring you back to the present moment. You don't need to find a quiet space or sit for hours to practice mindfulness. It can be done anywhere, anytime. Another way to practice mindfulness is by noticing your senses. What do you see, hear, smell, or touch right now? By tuning into your senses, you begin to reconnect with the world around you. This makes you more aware of your environment and of yourself. Whether you're eating, walking, or sitting, take a moment to appreciate the sights, sounds, and sensations. It might sound simple, but doing this regularly trains your mind to be more present. Mindfulness can also be practiced through loving kindness, a practice known in Buddhism as metta. It's about being mindful of your thoughts and cultivating positive feelings, not just for yourself but for others. You might start by silently wishing well-being to those around you, even strangers. The power of these thoughts is that they transform your mindset. Instead of feeling stressed, resentful, or disconnected, you begin to feel more compassionate and connected to the world. This simple practice can drastically shift your energy and make you feel more powerful in your interactions. You may be wondering, why does mindfulness matter so much? The answer lies in its impact on your mental and emotional state. By being present, you stop reacting automatically to life's challenges. Instead, you respond with awareness. You stop being a victim of your emotions. For example, when something frustrating happens, instead of reacting with anger or stress, you pause and observe your emotions. You understand what's happening inside you, and you have the choice to respond differently. This ability to choose your response is one of the most powerful tools you can develop. Mindfulness is also incredibly powerful for your mental health. It helps reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. When you stop living on autopilot, you become more aware of the thoughts and beliefs that shape your reality. Over time, this practice can help you change your patterns and build a more positive mindset. Instead of being at the mercy of your thoughts, you learn to guide them with intention. And let's not forget about the physical benefits of mindfulness. Studies have shown that mindfulness can lower blood pressure, improve sleep, and boost your immune system. By being mindful, you're not just cultivating mental strength, but physical health as well. It's truly a holistic practice, one that nurtures the mind, body, and spirit. In the end, mindfulness is a habit that strengthens you in ways you can't see, but you can feel. It's a silent power that changes how you engage with the world. It brings you peace when everything around you is in chaos. It helps you stay focused when distractions are everywhere. And most importantly, it makes you more aware of the quiet power you already have within. When you embrace mindfulness, you begin to see that the greatest source of power comes from being fully present in each moment of your life. So, the next time you find yourself rushing through life, take a step back. Breathe deeply. Ground yourself in the present. It's in this moment, right here, right now, that you'll discover your true power. And that, my friend, is the art of mindful presence. The power of letting go. Have you ever noticed how holding on to something can drain your energy? It could be a memory, a past mistake, a hurtful comment, or even expectations of how things should be. The tighter you hold, the more it weighs you down, like carrying a heavy stone in your hand for too long. But what if you learned to simply let go? What if you stopped holding on to everything that doesn't serve you, giving yourself the freedom to move forward? This idea of letting go is one of the most powerful yet least understood habits. It's not about giving up, it's about releasing what no longer helps you grow. It's about making space for new opportunities, ideas, and peace of mind. In Buddhism, the concept of letting go is deeply connected to the idea of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean that you stop caring about things or people. It means you stop being controlled by your desires, your past, or your fears. It means you stop clinging to things, letting go of the attachment that causes suffering. Take a moment to think about it. How many times have you found yourself in a cycle of worry, anxiety, or frustration over something that happened in the past or something you can't control in the future? Maybe you think about a decision you made, a failed relationship, or a job opportunity you missed. All of these thoughts can haunt you and steal your energy. The more you hold on to them, the more they control you. But by simply letting go, you free yourself. You're no longer tied to those old patterns and emotions. You let go of their power over you. Letting go starts with awareness. You have to first notice what you're holding on to. You can't let go of something you don't even realize you're clinging to. Think of it like carrying an invisible burden, one that weighs on you every day, yet you don't even realize you're carrying it. It could be fear of failure, an old grudge, guilt from past actions, or even the need to always be in control. Once you recognize what's weighing you down, you can begin the process of letting go. The Buddha taught that suffering comes from attachment, the attachment to people, possessions, and even ideas. It's the desire for things to be different than they are. We often think we need to hold on to everything tightly in order to feel secure, but in reality, the more we cling, the more we suffer. Think of the way a tree sheds its leaves in the fall. It doesn't fight the process. It simply lets go, allowing new growth to take place in the spring. The tree understands that to grow, it must first release what's no longer needed. Letting go doesn't mean you forget or stop caring. It means you release the hold that something has over you. You make peace with the past, even if it was painful. You stop living in regret or guilt. Instead of constantly wishing for things to be different, you accept the present moment as it is. In Buddhism, this is known as non-attachment. It's not about not caring. It's about having the wisdom to understand that nothing is permanent and everything is constantly changing. By accepting this, we learn to live freely and peacefully without being enslaved by our attachments. One powerful way to practice letting go is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment or distraction. When you're mindful, you're able to observe your thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them. You can notice when you're holding on to something, whether it's a negative thought, a past experience, or a desire for the future. You can then choose to gently release it, allowing it to pass without clinging. Another practice that can help you let go is meditation. Through meditation, you can train your mind to let go of the clutter and noise that constantly distracts you. You can learn to quiet your mind and focus on the present moment, cultivating a sense of peace and acceptance. As you meditate, you begin to notice how often your mind holds onto thoughts, judgments, and expectations. Meditation allows you to release these thoughts, one by one, and return to a state of calm. Letting go also involves forgiving, not just others, but yourself. We often hold on to anger, resentment, and blame, thinking it will somehow bring us justice or peace. But in reality, these emotions only hurt us. Forgiving doesn't mean condoning the actions of others or excusing wrongs, but it means releasing the grip that those actions have on you. When you forgive, you're no longer carrying that heavy emotional weight. You free yourself from the past and allow yourself to move forward with a lighter heart. Think of it like this. When you forgive, you stop drinking the poison of resentment. You stop letting the past control your present. The moment you forgive, you regain your power. You shift from being a victim of your past experiences to a powerful creator of your present and future. In everyday life, letting go can show up in many small ways. Maybe it's letting go of a plan that isn't working. Maybe it's accepting that not everyone will understand your choices or your path. Perhaps it's releasing the need to be perfect or the desire to control every outcome. Letting go can be as simple as letting go of a stressful situation that you can't change. You accept it, move through it, and find peace in the process. Another important aspect of letting go is embracing change. Change can be uncomfortable and even scary, but it is the only constant in life. When you let go of your attachment to how things should be, You open yourself up to the possibilities that change brings. You stop resisting and start flowing with life's natural rhythm. Life becomes less of a struggle and more of an adventure when you let go of the need for things to stay the same. Ultimately, letting go allows you to step into your true power. When you release the weight of your attachments, you make room for inner peace, joy, and growth. You stop being controlled by your past, your fears, or your expectations. You stop holding on to the things that hold you back, and you start living with clarity, freedom, and purpose. In Buddhism, this practice of letting go is closely tied to the concept of impermanence. Everything is in constant flux, and nothing lasts forever. By embracing impermanence, you learn to appreciate life in all its fleeting moments. You realize that holding on to things doesn't make them last longer. It only prevents you from experiencing the fullness of life as it is, right now. So, what can you let go of today? What burden, expectation, or attachment are you carrying that you can release? It might not be easy at first, but with practice, letting go becomes a liberating habit. Every time you let go, you create more space for peace, for happiness, and for a deeper sense of power within yourself. Remember, letting go is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice, one that requires patience, awareness, and compassion. But the more you practice, the more you will experience the freedom that comes with it. And as you continue on this journey, you'll find that you are no longer held back by the past or controlled by your attachments. You are free to live fully, present, and powerful in the moment. Compassion as a superpower. Compassion is often misunderstood. Many believe that compassion is just a kind, soft emotion, a gentle feeling of sympathy for others. But real compassion, true compassion, is much more powerful than that. It is not only about feeling for someone in their struggles, but also about connecting deeply with the world around you, acting with a sense of love and understanding that brings real change. Compassion can be your superpower. It is one of the most powerful habits that silently shapes you into a stronger, more resilient person. Imagine you are walking down a busy street. People are rushing past you, some with their heads down, others looking frustrated, others simply lost in their own worlds. What would happen if, for just a moment, you stopped to really look at one person? Maybe it's the man sitting on the bench, looking tired and worn, or the woman who seems angry, struggling to juggle her day. What if, instead of ignoring them or quickly walking by, you took a moment to share a kind smile, to acknowledge their presence, or even offer a simple, "How are you today?" This simple act of compassion may seem small and insignificant, but it can make a world of difference. It can change that person's day, shift their perspective, and in many cases, it may even change your own. This is the quiet strength of compassion. It not only heals others, but also nurtures your own spirit. Real compassion begins with understanding. It's not just about giving or helping. It's about deeply feeling with others and realizing that everyone, at some point, is going through something. Compassion helps you to see the world through another person's eyes, without judgment, and without the need to fix their problems. You simply offer them your understanding and your presence. This act, no matter how small, can open doors to deeper connections and a more fulfilling life. In the teachings of Buddhism, compassion, known as karuna, is considered one of the essential qualities for attaining true wisdom and peace. The Buddha taught that compassion is not just about offering aid, but about cultivating a sense of empathy and a deep connection to all beings. The goal is to transcend the boundaries between you and the other. When you act from a place of genuine compassion, there is no longer me and you, there is only us. You are able to see that the pain of others is also your pain, and their joy, your joy. This interconnectedness is the root of compassionate action. But here's the thing, compassion is not always easy. It's not about giving what is easy to give. It's about giving when it's difficult, when you don't feel like it, when you may even feel like you have nothing left to offer. That's the real power of compassion. It's not driven by your emotions, but by a conscious decision to act in a way that benefits others, even when it's hard. Think about times when you've been in need, when you've been struggling with something personal, or when life has thrown challenges your way. How did it feel when someone reached out to you, even just to listen, even when they didn't have to? That small act of kindness and understanding can be a lifeline. Compassion is powerful because it transcends words, transcends gifts. It's the energy of kindness, the force that brings people together, that builds trust and unity. It's the invisible thread that connects one heart to another. Moreover, compassion has an incredible ability to heal. When you practice compassion toward others, your own wounds begin to heal as well. You may be wondering how this works. Well, think about this. When you focus on helping others, it shifts your perspective away from your own pain and troubles. Compassionate action allows you to see beyond yourself. You stop dwelling on your hardships and start looking at the greater picture, at the struggles of others. And through this shift in perspective, you find healing, not only for others but for yourself as well. The Buddha often spoke about the importance of developing metta, or loving kindness, which is closely related to compassion. Metta is about wishing happiness and well-being for others without expecting anything in return. This selfless form of love is the foundation of true compassion. It means understanding that, just like you, everyone deserves to live with peace, happiness, and love. When you embrace metta, you open your heart to others, and in turn, it nurtures your own heart. Here's where it gets even more powerful. Compassion has the ability to transform situations. Think about the times when you've been angry or frustrated. What often happens when you act out of anger? You create more tension, you create conflict. But when you act from compassion, it diffuses tension. It creates a space of calm. It shifts the energy in the room. You no longer approach others with defensiveness or fear. You approach them with openness and understanding. Compassion has the magical ability to heal broken relationships and bridge gaps where communication and empathy were once lacking. Compassion is also deeply tied to gratitude. When you show compassion, you are acknowledging the inherent worth of others. And in doing so, you recognize the interconnectedness of life. Your well-being is tied to the well-being of others. The more you practice compassion, the more grateful you become for the people in your life, in the world around you. You begin to see the goodness in others, even in difficult situations. Compassion brings out the best in both you and others. This practice of compassion can be extended not only to people, but to all living beings, and even to yourself. Buddhists teach the importance of compassion for animals, for nature, and for oneself. True compassion knows no boundaries. It is limitless, free of judgment or restriction. It can be directed toward a loved one, a stranger, or even someone you may be in conflict with. And most importantly, it should be directed inward, toward yourself. How often do you show compassion to yourself? How often do you forgive your own mistakes or offer yourself the kindness you deserve? This is essential, because to be truly compassionate toward others, you must first learn to show compassion toward yourself. Now, let's talk about the incredible benefits that come with living a compassionate life. First, it increases your emotional resilience. When you approach life from a compassionate perspective, you are more likely to bounce back from challenges. Compassion teaches you to embrace life's difficulties with grace, to understand that pain and suffering are part of the human experience, and that they do not define you. Compassion helps you see the world as a place of healing, a place where pain is temporary and where love and understanding can mend even the deepest wounds. Second, compassion creates deeper relationships. People are drawn to those who offer genuine care and understanding. When you practice compassion, you attract others who are also compassionate. You build strong, lasting relationships that are based on trust, respect, and empathy. This creates a network of support that helps you grow, helps you thrive, and makes you stronger, no matter what life throws your way. Lastly, compassion brings a deep sense of peace. The more you practice compassion, the more at peace you become with yourself and the world. You no longer see the world as a place of danger, competition, or conflict. Instead, you begin to see it as a place of connection, of unity, where everyone is walking their own path, but we are all in this together. This inner peace will reflect in every aspect of your life, from your work to your relationships to how you face challenges. So, how can you cultivate more compassion in your life? It starts with small steps. Start by being more mindful of the feelings of others. Practice listening deeply, without judgment. Offer help when you can, even in small ways. And most importantly, practice kindness, both toward others and toward yourself. The more you practice compassion, the stronger it becomes, and the more powerful you will become. Remember, compassion is not a weakness. It is a strength that lies dormant in all of us, waiting to be awakened. When you embrace compassion as your superpower, you unlock the potential to create a world of love, understanding, and peace, not just for others, but for yourself as well. Compassion is the silent force that can change everything. It can transform lives, heal wounds, and bring about deep, lasting peace. So, take a moment today to act with compassion. It might just be the most powerful thing you do. Discipline, the hidden strength. Discipline is one of those words that often gets misunderstood. It's not about strict rules or rigid routines. It's about making small, consistent choices that align with your true goals, even when things feel tough or distracting. Discipline isn't a punishment. It's a tool that helps us harness our energy, focus our efforts, and transform ourselves into the person we want to become. Think about the daily habits that make up your life. Every morning, when you wake up, you make a choice. Do you hit the snooze button and drift back into sleep? Or do you get up and start your day with intention? Each of these small decisions adds up over time. The one who chooses to stay in bed every morning will find it harder to develop the strength and clarity needed to accomplish bigger goals. But the one who rises early, even when they don't feel like it, is building discipline. They're teaching themselves that they can rely on their own actions to shape their future, no matter how they feel in the moment. This is the first key to discipline. It's about doing, not just thinking. We often hear people say, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I'll start next week." But tomorrow never comes. Today is the only day that matters. Every time you take action toward your goal, you reinforce the habit of discipline. Discipline isn't a magic switch that you turn on once and for all. It's something that grows each time you follow through, even when you don't want to. To make this clearer, let's use a simple analogy. Imagine you're carving a statue out of stone. Each action you take is like a small chip from the stone. It may seem like little progress at first, but over time, those tiny chips create a beautiful sculpture. Discipline is about trusting the process, knowing that every small effort counts, even if you don't see immediate results. Over time, these tiny efforts add up to something powerful. Discipline also means setting boundaries for yourself. It's easy to get caught up in distractions, whether it's social media, television, or simply avoiding the hard work that needs to be done. But real power comes when you can make a commitment to yourself to stay focused on what matters. Let's say you're working on a project and your phone keeps buzzing with notifications. Every time you check your phone, you lose focus. But when you decide to turn off your phone, to set aside distractions, you're exercising the discipline to stay present in the moment and get the task done. This kind of discipline builds your inner strength. It's not about being perfect. It's about consistency and the willingness to push through discomfort for the sake of something greater. One of the biggest challenges to discipline is the temptation to give up when things get difficult. But let's take a moment to look at how discipline is connected to resilience. When you face challenges, your discipline helps you rise above them. Let's imagine you've set a goal to become fit and healthy. You start going to the gym regularly, but after a week, you're tired, your muscles hurt, and you don't see the results you expected. It's easy to think, this isn't working, maybe I should just quit. But discipline is the ability to keep going even when things get tough. It's the courage to push through that discomfort, knowing that every small effort is leading you closer to your goal. This is where the connection to Buddhism becomes powerful. In Buddhist teachings, there's a principle called right effort. It's about striving towards something meaningful with perseverance, but without forcing it. It's about finding a balance between working hard and allowing things to unfold naturally. In Buddhism, discipline isn't about rigid control or force. It's about cultivating patience and self-mastery, knowing that growth takes time. Another important aspect of discipline is self-awareness. You need to be aware of your habits, your thought patterns, and the choices you make each day. Sometimes, we're not conscious of the ways we sabotage ourselves. We tell ourselves that we're too busy, too tired, or too overwhelmed to stay disciplined. But if you're truly honest with yourself, you'll see that these are just excuses. The truth is, if something matters enough to you, you will find a way to make it happen. Discipline means owning your actions and being responsible for the choices you make. It's not about blaming others or circumstances. It's about taking full responsibility for your life. One way to build discipline is by setting small, achievable goals. When you break down big tasks into smaller steps, they become less overwhelming. For example, if you want to write a book, don't focus on writing the entire book at once. Instead, set a goal to write 500 words a day. Even on the days when you don't feel like writing, simply showing up and writing those 500 words will build your discipline. Over time, those small actions will add up to something much greater than you ever imagined. Here's another powerful tip. Surround yourself with a supportive environment. Discipline is easier to maintain when you have a positive environment that encourages your growth. Whether it's friends who motivate you or a workspace that helps you stay focused, your environment plays a key role in shaping your habits. If your surroundings are cluttered or distracting, it's harder to stay disciplined. But when your space supports your goals, discipline becomes natural. Buddhism teaches us to find peace in the present moment. Often, we think about discipline in terms of the future, what we will achieve, how successful we'll be, what our life will look like when we reach our goals. But true discipline is about living in the present moment and taking action right now. It's about being fully aware of what's happening around you and choosing to act with intention, no matter the circumstances. In this way, discipline becomes a mindful practice. The more you practice discipline, the more you realize that it's not about the result. It's about who you become in the process. As you strengthen your discipline, you'll find that it starts to affect other areas of your life. Your relationships, your work, your health, everything benefits from the strength that discipline brings. It's not just about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. It's about aligning your actions with your values and your purpose, and knowing that every disciplined step brings you closer to the person you want to become. In conclusion, discipline is the quiet force that shapes your life. It's not loud or dramatic, but it's powerful. The more disciplined you become, the more you realize that you are in control of your destiny. You are the one who decides what you will achieve and who you will become. The journey isn't always easy, but each step forward is a victory. Stay committed, stay focused, and watch how your life transforms as discipline becomes the foundation of your strength. The wisdom of silence. In a world that never seems to stop, where everyone is talking, shouting, and trying to be heard, silence has become a rare and precious gift. The ability to remain silent, to listen more than you speak, is often overlooked. But silence isn't just the absence of noise. It's a powerful tool, a source of wisdom, and an essential habit that can make you truly powerful. You may be wondering, how can silence make you strong? Well, let's explore. When we think of silence, many of us imagine stillness or emptiness, as if nothing is happening. But in the deeper sense, silence is full of meaning. It's in silence that you can hear your own thoughts clearly, understand your emotions, and connect with your inner wisdom. Think about it. How often do you find yourself caught up in the noise of life? The endless stream of conversations, social media updates, news, and advertisements? All of this external noise can drown out your own voice, the voice that knows what's best for you. But when you take a moment of silence, you allow yourself to hear that voice. You create space to reflect, to think deeply, and to make better decisions. Silence gives you clarity. It helps you become aware of the distractions and chaos around you, and teaches you how to be still amidst it all. And in that stillness, you unlock a form of power that can't be found in the hustle and bustle of daily life. Consider the example of a calm lake. When there's no wind, the water is clear and still, allowing you to see the bottom. But when the wind blows, the surface becomes choppy, and everything below the surface becomes hidden. The same happens in your mind. When your mind is calm, when you allow silence to settle within you, you can see things clearly, and your thoughts become more focused. But when your mind is cluttered, like a stormy lake, everything gets muddled, and it becomes harder to make sound decisions. In Buddhism, silence is not just about avoiding noise. It's a practice of mindfulness and awareness. Through practices like meditation, Buddhists cultivate an inner silence that helps them connect with the present moment. In these quiet moments, they gain insight into their true nature and the nature of the world around them. This silence allows them to break free from the endless cycle of thoughts and emotions that often cloud our judgment. It's a form of mental clarity that is a true source of power. Now, you might be thinking, but I'm not a monk, and I don't have time for hours of meditation each day. That's okay. The power of silence doesn't require you to become a Buddhist monk or spend hours in deep meditation. It can be practiced in simple, everyday moments. In fact, just a few minutes of silence each day can have a profound impact on your life. Whether it's taking a few moments to breathe deeply in the morning before you start your day, or simply sitting quietly for a few minutes during a break at work, you can cultivate a sense of inner peace and clarity without needing to go anywhere or do anything special. Think about the last time you were in a conversation. Did you find yourself interrupting, or were you truly listening to the other person? Most of the time, we listen to respond, not to understand. In silence, you can learn to listen with more intention. When you listen deeply, without the urge to speak, you create space for others to express themselves fully. And in that space, you gain valuable insights that may be hidden in plain sight. In relationships, whether personal or professional, being a good listener is one of the most powerful things you can do. People appreciate when they feel heard, and it strengthens connections in ways that words alone cannot. But silence isn't just about listening to others, it's also about listening to yourself. The more you learn to be silent, the more you become aware of your thoughts and emotions. You start to recognize the patterns in your mind, your fears, your desires, your beliefs, and you can begin to question whether they are serving you. This self-awareness is the foundation of personal growth. When you're constantly talking or surrounded by noise, it's easy to ignore these inner patterns. But silence allows you to face them head-on. One of the most powerful ways silence can transform your life is by helping you control your reactions. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to react impulsively, to let your emotions take over and say or do things you might regret. But when you practice silence, you create a pause between what happens to you and how you respond. In that pause, you have the power to choose your reaction. You can respond with patience, kindness, or wisdom, rather than acting out of anger or frustration. This gives you a level of emotional control that makes you stronger in every situation. Silence also helps you manage stress. In the fast-paced, noisy world we live in, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But taking time to be silent, even for just a few minutes, allows your mind and body to reset. It lowers your stress levels and helps you think more clearly. By practicing silence regularly, you can build emotional resilience and become better at handling life's challenges. It's like hitting the reset button for your mind. And here's another surprising thing about silence. It can make you more creative. When you're surrounded by noise and distractions, it's hard to think outside the box. But in silence, you free up mental space to explore new ideas, connect dots, and come up with creative solutions to problems. Some of the greatest thinkers in history, from artists to scientists, have credited their best ideas to moments of quiet reflection. Silence allows your mind to wander and make connections that might not happen in the midst of constant activity. In Buddhism, silence is not only about personal growth, but also about connecting with the world around you. It's through silence that you learn to truly appreciate the beauty of life in all its forms. When you stop talking, stop thinking, and just observe, you begin to see the world with fresh eyes. You notice the small things, the sound of the wind, the rustling of leaves, the smile of a stranger. In this way, silence connects you to the present moment, to the world, and to the people around you. It deepens your experience of life and makes everything feel more meaningful. As you cultivate the habit of silence, you will notice a shift in the way you interact with the world. You will become more mindful, more aware, and more connected to your inner wisdom. You'll find that you don't need to shout or compete for attention to feel powerful. The quiet strength that comes from silence is more than enough to carry you through any challenge. So, how can you start integrating silence into your life? Begin by creating moments of stillness throughout your day. You don't need to meditate for hours, but just a few minutes here and there can make a difference. Start by taking 5 minutes in the morning to sit quietly, focusing on your breath. Or take a break during the day to step outside and listen to the sounds of nature. Even in the middle of a busy day, you can find moments of peace. Remember, silence isn't the absence of sound, but the presence of awareness. It's about being fully present in the moment, free from distractions and noise. The more you practice it, the more you will experience the deep power and wisdom that silence offers. Over time, you will find that silence doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong, wise, and unstoppable. Patience, the unseen force. Patience. It's one of those qualities that most people overlook, yet it's one of the most powerful tools you can possess. In today's fast-paced world, where everything is instant, the internet, food delivery, even messages, we are losing the art of patience. But let me tell you, the most powerful people in the world are often the ones who know how to wait, how to let things unfold in their own time. Think about the process of a flower blooming. It doesn't rush. It doesn't try to push itself into bloom. It waits for the right conditions, for the right time. And when the time comes, it blossoms in its full glory. You, too, can be like that flower. Your strength lies in knowing when to act and when to wait. The Buddha often spoke about patience. He said that life is full of challenges and suffering, but the key to overcoming them lies in patience. You see, when we practice patience, we are not just waiting for time to pass. We are giving ourselves the space to grow, to understand, and to respond wisely. It's not about doing nothing. It's about doing the right thing at the right moment without rushing or forcing the outcome. When we rush, we miss the lessons that come with patience. We miss the opportunity to reflect, to learn, and to make better choices. Patience teaches us that every moment, no matter how small, has value. Each moment gives us the chance to observe, to think, and to adjust our actions. In the world of Zen, this is referred to as being present. It's about not getting caught up in the rush, but simply existing and allowing life to unfold in its own time. Patience also means accepting that not everything will happen according to our timeline. How often do we feel frustrated when things don't go as planned? Maybe you're waiting for a job promotion, or you're working hard on a project, but you aren't seeing the results immediately. It can be discouraging, right? But this is where patience comes in. The greatest achievements don't happen overnight. They take time, effort, and perseverance. Patience teaches us to stay grounded, even when we don't see immediate results. Remember, a Zen master doesn't get upset when a challenge arises. Instead, they approach it with calmness, knowing that everything will unfold as it should. They understand that the journey is just as important as the destination. Every step, no matter how small or slow, contributes to the overall progress. Patience is about trusting the process, even when it seems like nothing is happening. This doesn't mean you have to be passive or lazy. On the contrary, patience often requires us to keep going, to keep showing up, even when the results aren't immediate. Think about a craftsman carving a statue. Each stroke of the chisel might seem insignificant at first, but over time, they come together to create something magnificent. Patience is the trust that all the small efforts will eventually add up to something meaningful. In Buddhism, there is a concept called right effort, which is one of the elements of the Eightfold Path. Right effort is about making consistent, wise effort without rushing, without forcing things. It's about applying ourselves fully to each task, but without attachment to the outcome. This is what patience allows us to do. It helps us focus on the present, on the task at hand, rather than getting caught up in the future or what might happen next. A powerful example of patience can be seen in the story of the Zen monk and the river. One day, a monk was asked by a student, "How do I reach enlightenment?" The monk responded, "First, go to the river and sit there for 3 days, and only return when you can sit without thinking of anything." The student went to the river, but every time he tried to sit, his mind was filled with thoughts. He couldn't calm himself. He came back to the monk and said, "I can't do it. My mind is too busy." The monk simply smiled and said, "You will return when you can sit with patience, without being disturbed by thoughts. When you learn to be with yourself, without the need for things to be different, you will understand." This story shows that patience is not just about waiting for external things to change. It's about learning to be at peace with the moment, as it is, without constantly striving for something else. The moment we stop fighting against the flow of life, we begin to experience the power of patience. Patience also gives us the ability to see things from a wider perspective. When we're in a rush, everything feels urgent, and we often make decisions based on short-term desires or fears. But when we practice patience, we start to see things more clearly. We understand that each challenge is part of a larger picture, and we don't need to react immediately. We can step back, take a breath, and choose our actions wisely. One of the most important aspects of patience is the ability to stay calm in difficult situations. Life will always throw challenges our way. People will disappoint us, things won't go as planned, and we'll face unexpected obstacles. But how we respond to these challenges is what truly matters. If we allow ourselves to get angry or frustrated, we lose our power. But if we can respond with patience, choosing not to react impulsively, we gain control over the situation. When we practice patience, we also build emotional resilience. We become less attached to the highs and lows of life, knowing that everything is temporary. This emotional balance is what gives us the strength to keep moving forward, even in the face of adversity. Patience is like the deep roots of a tree, holding us steady even when the winds of life blow strong. But patience isn't just about enduring difficult times. It's also about recognizing and appreciating the good moments in life. Often, we are so focused on the next thing that we fail to appreciate what we already have. Patience teaches us to savor the present, to find peace in the here and now, without constantly longing for something more. So how can you start practicing patience today? Start small. Begin by noticing your thoughts when you're in a situation that tests your patience. Are you in a rush? Are you frustrated? Acknowledge those feelings, but don't let them control you. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that you don't need to rush. Take your time and trust that everything will unfold as it should. You can also practice patience in your interactions with others. When someone is speaking to you, truly listen without interrupting, without rushing to respond. When you're waiting in line, instead of getting impatient, take a moment to breathe and enjoy the stillness. These small acts of patience can gradually shift your mindset and bring more peace into your life. The next time you're facing a challenge, remember the flower blooming, the Zen monk by the river, and the tree with deep roots. Patience isn't just about waiting. It's about trusting the process, knowing that everything happens in its own time. Cultivate patience, and you will find that your life becomes calmer, more focused, and more powerful. Patience is not a weakness. It is the quiet force that holds everything together. And remember, true power doesn't come from rushing to the finish line. It comes from knowing how to navigate the journey with calmness, understanding, and wisdom. Resilience, the bounce-back effect. Resilience is a quality that we all need to cultivate in our lives, but it's something that is often misunderstood. People think resilience means never falling, but that's not true. In reality, resilience is about getting up every single time you fall, no matter how many times it happens. Life is full of challenges and hardships, but it's not what happens to us that defines our strength. It's how we respond to what happens. Resilience is the art of bouncing back stronger each time we face difficulties. Think about a rubber band. When you stretch it, it becomes tense, but when you release it, it returns to its original shape. This is a simple example of resilience. It doesn't stay stretched, it comes back. Similarly, no matter how stretched or worn out you may feel by life's challenges, resilience allows you to return to your center, your true self. And just like the rubber band, the more you practice bouncing back, the easier it becomes, and the stronger you get. There's a common misconception that resilient people are immune to hardship. In truth, resilient people face just as much pain, frustration, and loss as anyone else. The difference is that they know how to deal with it. When life pushes them down, they don't stay down. They use their strength, however small, to push themselves up again. They understand that life is a cycle of ups and downs, and it's the ability to endure the downs that creates the space for greater UPS. Buddhism teaches us that suffering is an inherent part of life. It is a truth that we can't escape. But here's the key. We don't have to let suffering define us. We don't have to let it keep us stuck. Resilience isn't about avoiding suffering. It's about accepting it, learning from it, and continuing to move forward. The Buddha spoke about the importance of right understanding, which means accepting the truth of life, the impermanence of everything. When we understand that all things are temporary, the pain and suffering we experience don't hold the same weight. They become part of the cycle, part of the journey. When you experience setbacks or failures, it can feel like you're walking in the dark. But this is the moment where resilience shines the brightest. The key to developing resilience is simply to keep walking. Even in the darkest of times, if you keep moving forward, no matter how slowly, you will eventually find the light. The darkness doesn't last forever. Life will always offer new opportunities, new challenges, and new chances to rise again. The concept of impermanence in Buddhism also teaches us that nothing stays the same forever. This applies to both our successes and our failures. In moments of pain or loss, this teaching can be comforting because it reminds us that the hurt, too, will pass. Resilience is about understanding that nothing lasts forever, not even our difficulties. This understanding helps us maintain hope and patience, knowing that whatever we are going through right now is temporary. One powerful practice to build resilience is mindfulness. Being present in the moment, without judgment, allows us to fully experience our emotions and thoughts without being overwhelmed by them. When you feel pain or disappointment, instead of trying to escape it, you allow yourself to feel it fully. You breathe through it and you observe it without letting it define who you are. This act of mindful acceptance creates the foundation for resilience, as it teaches you that emotions, no matter how intense, are temporary. They come and go, just like the waves in the ocean. Another important aspect of resilience is self-compassion. We often think we must be tough, and sometimes we believe that being tough means pushing through our feelings or ignoring our struggles. But true resilience isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about being kind to yourself in the face of challenges. When you face setbacks, don't beat yourself up. Instead, recognize that it's okay to feel pain, to feel fear, and to feel uncertainty. What matters is that you don't stay stuck there. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend going through hard times. Resilience also requires us to embrace failure. We often fear failure, seeing it as a sign of weakness or inadequacy. But in truth, failure is a powerful teacher. Every time you fail, you gain valuable lessons that shape your growth. Without failure, there would be no growth. Without challenges, there would be no opportunities to build resilience. Each failure is simply a stepping stone on the path to greater strength and wisdom. So instead of fearing failure, see it as a necessary part of the journey toward becoming stronger, more resilient. Resilience is also about perspective. When you face difficulties, it's easy to see them as the end of the road. But if you shift your perspective and look at them as opportunities for growth, you can transform them into something positive. Every challenge, no matter how difficult, has the potential to teach you something. It could teach you patience, humility, strength, or creativity. The way you see the challenge shapes your response to it, and this is where resilience comes into play. By shifting your perspective, you can choose how to react. Building resilience is not a quick process. It takes time, effort, and practice. It requires you to be patient with yourself and with life. There will be times when you feel like you're not making progress, but remember that every small step you take toward resilience counts. Just like a seed that takes time to grow into a strong tree, resilience is something that develops over time through consistent effort. The key is to keep showing up for yourself, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. Resilience also comes from a sense of purpose. When you have a clear sense of purpose, a reason to keep going even when times are tough, you build an inner strength that helps you overcome any obstacle. Buddhism teaches the importance of finding your purpose, your true path in life. When you align yourself with that purpose, no challenge feels insurmountable. You become driven not by fear of failure, but by the desire to fulfill your true potential. Your purpose gives you the strength to keep moving forward, even when the road gets tough. As you work on building resilience, remember that it's not about being perfect. It's about progress. You will have good days, and you will have bad days. But every time you get back up after a fall, you grow stronger. Every time you push through a challenge, you build your inner strength. Resilience isn't something you either have or don't have. It's a skill that you can develop little by little, every single day. To summarize, resilience is not about avoiding pain or hardship. It's about accepting them, learning from them, and continuing to grow. It's about having the courage to face life's challenges head-on and trusting that you will come out stronger on the other side. Resilience is not just about surviving. It's about thriving no matter what life throws at you. With the right mindset, resilience becomes a force that helps you move through life with grace, strength, and an unwavering belief that no matter what happens, you will always rise again. Conclusion: the path to inner power. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered the 10 silent habits that, when practiced consistently, can transform your life. These are not flashy or complex changes. They are simple, small shifts in mindset and action that, over time, accumulate into a quiet, powerful force that shapes your reality. But now, let's step back and take a moment to reflect on the deeper picture. The path to inner power. What does it really mean to be powerful? Is it about having control over others, about being the loudest in the room, or about achieving grand, external success? In many ways, the world tells us that power is all about force, about striving, pushing, and competing. But true power, as we've discovered through these habits, is not about force at all. It's about presence. It's about mastering yourself, not the world around you. It's about becoming the person who remains unshaken, no matter what life throws at you. And that kind of power is both rare and deeply valuable. Let's revisit the core lessons we've learned. The first habit was mindfulness. It's the foundation for everything else. Without being present, how can we truly understand what's happening around us and within us? How can we make wise choices if we're constantly distracted or caught up in the past and future? Mindfulness grounds us in the now, making it easier to respond calmly and clearly to life's challenges. The second habit, the art of letting go, showed us that true strength lies in release. Holding on to anger, grudges, or expectations only weakens us. When we let go of what doesn't serve us, whether it's material possessions, toxic relationships, or past mistakes, we free up energy for what truly matters. Letting go isn't about weakness, it's about strength and freedom. The more we release, the lighter we become. Compassion, our third habit, teaches us that power doesn't have to be forceful. Compassion is a quiet strength. When we practice compassion, we are not only helping others, but we are also deepening our own sense of peace and purpose. The act of showing kindness and understanding to those around us cultivates a powerful, internal sense of fulfillment. Compassion makes us resilient. It connects us to others and ourselves in meaningful ways, strengthening our emotional foundations. The fourth habit, discipline, reveals that power is built over time through small, consistent actions. It's not about motivation alone. Discipline is the force that pushes us to do what needs to be done, even when we don't feel like it. Through discipline, we develop the strength to keep moving forward, to make decisions aligned with our values, and to keep our commitments to ourselves. It might seem like a quiet habit, but it's one that transforms our lives in the most profound ways. In silence, we find the fifth habit. The wisdom of silence doesn't just mean keeping quiet. It means listening deeply, both to the world around us and to the stillness within. In a noisy, busy world, silence is a rare treasure. It allows us to hear our true thoughts and desires, to find clarity in confusion, and to reconnect with our inner peace. Through silence, we access a kind of wisdom that cannot be found in constant activity. Patience, as we explored in Habit 6, teaches us that power doesn't rush. It doesn't push ahead blindly. True power understands timing. It knows when to wait, when to act, and when to pause. In our fast-paced world, patience can feel like a weakness. But in reality, it's the ultimate form of strength. Patience allows us to endure hardship with grace, to wait for the right moment, and to trust that things will unfold as they should. The seventh habit, resilience, is perhaps one of the most important. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and failures. But the ability to rise again, to learn from our mistakes, and to continue moving forward with renewed determination is what separates the truly powerful from the rest. Resilience is about bouncing back, not being knocked down. It's the inner strength that allows us to face life's obstacles without losing our sense of self. Gratitude, our eighth habit, brings power in the form of abundance. When we focus on what we are thankful for, we attract more of it into our lives. Gratitude shifts our focus from lack to abundance, from problems to possibilities. It's a quiet habit, but it has a profound impact on how we view the world. By practicing gratitude daily, we start to see the beauty in life, even in the most difficult moments. And in doing so, we tap into a powerful source of joy and contentment. The ninth habit, self-reflection, helps us understand our true nature. Without reflection, we move through life like a leaf in the wind. reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. Self-reflection allows us to observe our thoughts, actions, and emotions without judgment, leading to greater self-awareness and personal growth. It helps us understand where we are, where we've been, and where we're going. It's the mirror that reveals the truth about who we are and what we need to change. Finally, the 10th habit, living with purpose, completes the circle. Purpose gives us direction. It guides our actions, fuels our discipline, and aligns us with something greater than ourselves. Without purpose, it's easy to get lost or distracted. But with a clear sense of why we're here, every action becomes meaningful, every day has value, and every challenge becomes an opportunity for growth. Together, these 10 habits form a powerful foundation for a life of inner strength. They are simple in practice but profound in their impact. As we conclude this series, remember that power isn't about what you do for others. It's about what you do for yourself. It's about cultivating the habits that will allow you to be calm, strong, and unshaken, no matter what comes your way. The path to inner power is a journey, not a destination. It takes time, patience, and consistency, but the rewards are immeasurable. As you begin to integrate these habits into your life, you will start to notice subtle shifts, changes in how you respond to stress, how you deal with challenges, and how you see the world. You will feel more grounded, more centered, and more in control of your life. Remember, true power isn't about loud, forceful actions. It's about the quiet strength that comes from mastering yourself. It's about cultivating habits that shape your character and allow you to live in alignment with your highest values. So take these lessons to heart and walk the path of inner power with confidence and grace. You are not just anyone. You are a force of nature, a being with infinite potential. The more you practice these habits, the more you will realize just how powerful you truly are. Then that power will not come from the world around you. It will come from within.